Da, 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 da. Ladies and gentlemen, CocoSports.com proudly presents the Boom Boom Room. Of course, I am the sexiest man on all Urban Wrestling Radio. That's right, Boom Boom Shaking the Room, live from the RVA, Richmond, Virginia. And a lot of news to get to this morning. The big one just now coming out. It came out late last night, early this morning. Right now, Lucha Underground. The next season, I would say it's safe to say season 5 is in complete total jeopardy because they're facing a lawsuit from King Cuerno. King Cuerno, or the performer who plays him, has filed a lawsuit. It's aimed at the Rey Network and Baba G Productions. And in that, it's saying that Lucha Underground's contracts illegally restricts the wrestlers from engaging in their lawful profession. That's a quote there. They're saying that while contracted to Lucha Underground, they're making less than $4,000 a year, whereas if they were working for pretty much anywhere in any other promotions in any other markets, they can make anywhere from $50,000 to up to it says 7 figures here, and so this one has. So what King Cuerno is saying is that the contract that basically they can wrestle, but they have to get permission from the Lucha, I guess, El Rey Network with the producers of El Rey, Lucha Underground, etc., to go out and do that. And it's very restrictive. And it's saying it's costing them just thousands of dollars. Now, King Cuerno is asking El Rey and Babaji Productions to pay punitive and actual damages. The same attorney who represents King Cuerno, Andre Verdon, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If not, I apologize. There looks like they're filing a class action lawsuit, and it's looking like Evilise, Joey Ryan, and Cobra Moon are among the names that are joining the lawsuit. This is all coming via Lucha Central. And it's also coming out via Pro Wrestling Sheet. So, this, in my opinion, is going to put the 5th season completely in jeopardy. If you go back and maybe see some of our other coverage here, when this whole thing started out in 2014, they signed a lot of talents. They used a lot of talents, independent talents here in the United States, and they used talent from AAA down in Mexico. Put together it was amazing, absolutely amazing show. Not going to criticize the show. The whole point of the show, it's irrelevant to this lawsuit. But they signed all these people, and the promise was that they would be shooting. I think for some of these contracts go up to, if I may be off by a year or two on this one, but up to 6 years. And the idea was you were going to film at least 2 seasons per year. It seemed like a pretty good idea at the time, but after the first season ended, there was question about getting funding to do a second season. And at the end of every season, it's the same song and dance. It's, can we get enough funding? How many episodes can we do? Because we don't want to compromise the quality. And then talent started to get disgruntled by about season 3. So that's why you saw Prince Puma get written off. Season 4, this past season, has been a goddamn bloodbath. People were getting sacrificed to the gods. They were getting killed off. In fact, there were people that came back specifically for season 4 to have their characters killed off, so they wouldn't have to deal with anything. And you're talking about people trying to get out of their contracts. So this really, really, really puts season 5, in my opinion, in danger. They've still got people. They've still got Dario Cueto. They still got these people under contracts. But if I'm El Rey and Babaji Productions, maybe I'm going to try to smooth things over, is loosen, try to keep on, because I really want to, get this next season on air. I don't want to see. If it ends like it did at season 4, it wouldn't be the absolute. It's not great, but it wouldn't be the worst ending to a show I've ever seen. The worst one ever goes to Quantum Leap, and you've got to be a really old fucking nerd to get that fucking reference. It wouldn't be the worst fucking ending to a TV show, or maybe The Sopranos. I didn't watch that show, but people bitched about it. It wouldn't be the absolute worst ending to Lucha Underground, but I think I would like to get a a farewell, just to kind of like this is the series finale. This is the final season. We're building it all up to this, and just have one hell of a blowout, and just let the show tip its cap, go down the annals of history. It's just a great project ahead of its time. I would, anyway, as I was saying, if I was part of Babaji Productions or Lucha Underground, I would maybe try to placate some of these concerns here and be like, okay, if you'll drop the lawsuit, we'll let you start working independent dates. Or maybe they can make a deal. It's like, okay, you can work as King Cuerno, but you have to promote Lucha Underground. Or okay, you can, but you can't go under the King Cuerno persona. I certainly think there's definitely a compromise that could be reached here, because I really felt like, I don't know. I haven't seen the contracts. I think it's just going to be depending on how well that contract's written, and ultimately what a jury or a judge may find on that one. So we'll have to keep standing by on this. We'll take a look. And I kind of wish everybody the best of luck, because I want Lucha Underground to continue for season 5. I want all the performers for Lucha Underground to find work. I want them to go be popular. I want them to go make millions of dollars on the independent circuit and be happy. So I want both sides to win on this one, in the sense that I want Lucha Underground to continue. I want El Rey to continue to be a thing. And I also want the performers to go out and do what they do and make tons of money. So guys, get together, work this out. We're begging you. I guess speaking of other things going on here, it's rumored now that contracts are starting to come up with WWE, and now negotiations have gotten really interesting, because it used to be WWE was pretty much the only game in town, unless you wanted to go out to maybe Japan or Mexico or the UK. Some people may not want to deal with that, but now that we have All Elite Wrestling starting up this year, things are getting interesting, because WWE has been taking people that maybe only been signed for a year or two and asking them to like re-up for like bigger money for more years, specifically so they don't go to all Elite Wrestling. Well, among those right now are the Usos. Fightful is reporting that Jimmy and Jey Uso will not re-sign when their deal is up. It comes at the end of April, and WWE's pushing for like a new contract. Same thing with AJ Styles. AJ Styles, it was rumored that he had re-signed, but AJ Styles immediately responded to that report in a tweet going, "Really? I didn't know that. Might want to get a better source." So if that's the, sorry, my mouth got dry. So if that's the case, I mean, right now, I'm thinking the wrestlers are finally in the driver's seat here. They're on this power end of the negotiations. Right now, WWE does not want any competition. They're really, I mean, that's the funny thing. AEW has not won one. I mean, yes, I know All In, but technically has not run one official show, has not done anything. They've just only announced a handful of people with their roster. In fact, coming up in the next, actually, I think this week, I think it actually might be today, there might be an announcement about a possible TV deal. We got some more stuff, which I'm going to get to in just a second here. But they have not, when they've already they've not really run a show yet, not one official show yet, and yet they've already changed the landscape of professional wrestling. It's put the wrestlers in the power position. So WWE is offering them insane money, insane years, and in the end, I think that's a win for the performers. So no more. It's, well, you're going to work for next to nothing. Well, what the fuck are you going to do? You going to go to fucking Impact? Okay. You going to go to Ring of Honor? Okay. Oh, you want to fly the way to Japan? Okay. Well, it's like, well, maybe I'm going to go to All Elite Wrestling. They're backed by a billionaire. Well, okay, well, here's $11 billion to not go. So, I mean, for me, I just kind of like it when finally, like, the wrestlers stick it to WWE for a change. Ultimately, I don't know. I think with this negotiating ploy, I think now, if you're for the Usos, if you're AJ Styles, it's just one of those, okay, give me what you want, give me something good, or you know what, I'm going to get on the phone with Chris Jericho, I'm going to get on the phone with Cody, and maybe we'll work out something. Maybe it'll be for maybe not as much money, but I'll have more freedom, and then, you don't get me, period. Who knows? There's actually one story I don't like, and it was just stupid. And this is where I'm going to kind of criticize other, so-called wrestling journalists. Is our sources say that AEW is extremely interested in signing a WWE performer. I'm like, okay, and well, do you know who? No. Do you know when? No. Do you know how much money? No. Do you know where they are on the card? No. Are they active? I don't know. Well, why the fuck are you reporting it? But anyway, speaking of All Elite Wrestling, it's looking like Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix are going to sign. If you watched the YouTube series Being the Elite, and if you're not subscribed to that, I would recommend subscribing to that on YouTube. It's absolutely free, by the way. It's entertaining as hell. It's looking. They did it's supposed to be a handshake agreement. It ended on a cliffhanger. The Young Bucks appeared at Northeast Wrestling and confronted Pentagon and Phoenix after they had a match with SCU and just said, we don't have any contracts now, but you know what? A handshake will do. And the episode ends with them sticking out their hands to Pentagon and Phoenix. Will they shake? Will they not? So that's a good sign. All Elite Wrestling also announced this week they have signed Jimmy Havoc. He's a British guy, hardcore wrestler. He's the guy who wrestled Big Sammy Callahan barefoot in thumbtacks. God, that makes me cringe just thinking about it. Big signing for them. And I don't think they're done. There's I cannot think of her name, but I think it's Kylie Ray. It's an independent wrestler out of Texas that they're rumored to have signed. I don't know much about her. I think there's a few links on the internet if you want to go check her out. That's another woman that they've signed. Same thing would be Presley. It's rumored that she turned down a WWE contract for an AEW contract. Again, this is all rumors, so we won't know officially till we see like some kind of release. I really like the way All Elite Wrestling is shaping up. So, and one other thing I want to talk about here before we get going here is all the hype now going around with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Man, it's I've been able to check out a little bit since early last month. If you remember, I was not, I don't want to say I was disappointed with Wrestle Kingdom. I was disappointed. Everybody kind of said the same thing. It's like, yeah, it was good, but it just didn't feel like Wrestle Kingdom. It was kind of like a letdown. I've been popping in and out, checking out a few things here and there. I checked out Kushida's final match in New Japan, where he took on Hiroshi Tanahashi. He's now going to be going to NXT. So look for him to make that appearance in the suit at the next takeover. I watched the Dream Team, Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kazuchika Okada teaming up to take on Jay White and Bad Luck Fale. Watched that tag match, but I really just sat down and decided to watch New Beginnings at Sapporo. I thought about watching the other stuff, but I just really wasn't interested in it because a lot of it was like with all due respect to both these guys, but I just didn't want to watch like the elimination match between Suzuki Gun and LIJ. This one, night 2, had a lot more meat to it. I'll kind of run down quickly. Toa Hanare defeated Yota Tsuji. Tsuji is a young lion. This guy, Tsuji, I like this guy. I mean, this guy's a big guy. Looks like a future heavyweight. This guy has potential to be a star. I know he's just now starting out, but he's got a decent look right now. He didn't really do anything that really just threw up any red flags or looked bad. I mean, they worked obviously within his comfort level. So interested to see how he develops. Then you have tag match, Ayato Yoshida and Shota Umino versus Nakanishi and Tiger Mask 4. Of course, the good guys won on that one. Yoshida is one of the trainees from the Kaientai dojo, and Shota Umino is, of course, the son of Red Shoes. Shota's really developing nicely. Ayato Yoshida, I almost mistook him for just like a regular wrestler, but especially for these guys are doing pretty good at the level they're at. Nakanishi and Tiger Mask gave them hell. They actually had some pretty good spots in there, but ultimately the big boys go over, of course. Next we had Hiroshi Tenzan teaming up with Young Lion Rin Narita taking on Taka Michinoku and Takashi Iizuka. Now, Iizuka is going to be hanging up his, calling it a career later, actually in a few weeks. I think it's the 21st, 22nd, somewhere around that. Don't quote me on that, but he's going to be hanging up. Going to have a goodbye, be a farewell show, final match. I'm thinking it's going to be against Hiroshi Tenzan because Tenzan got on the microphone before the match telling Iizuka to, snap out of it. Don't be like this. These two have a history together, and Iizuka actually used to be a pretty, regular, pretty decent wrestler. And he was, partnered up with Tenzan at one point. So I'm thinking this is how it's going to end. They're just going to have the final match with Iizuka taking on Tenzan, and they're going to drop the whole, I'm a crazy man thing with Iizuka, and he's going to be able to tip his cap, say goodbye, and ride off into the sunset. Anyway, Tenzan and Narita win via disqualification when Iizuka, uses that Iron Claw. Next, we had, this was actually kind of a funny match. You had Bullet Club being represented by the Guerrillas of Destiny, Taiji Ishimura and Yujiro Takahashi, taking on the Never Openweight six-man tag team champions, and then Tomoki Hanma. This was actually kind of funny because right now Tama Tonga is going through this thing where he's kind of trying to update his PR image. He's going to be, instead of being the bad boy, he's the good guy, and he's like, "Oh no, guys, we can't cheat." It's actually, I don't think anybody's believing it for a second, but it kind of tickles me a little bit that they're finally just doing something a little bit different with them. I love the change in GOD's intro music. I love it so much more. It was a fun match, but eventually Yano got the win for the good guys with a roll up. Nothing too interesting, but I was entertained by the little shenanigans, especially from Tama Tonga. Next, we had Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens, and Jay White taking on Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada, and Yoshihashi. Jay White, man, picked up a pretty big win over Tanahashi in tag team actions the night before. He introduced a new finishing maneuver called TTO. Tanahashi tapped out. It's what he calls it. It's like an inverted figure four that he beat the champ with. Now, this has got stuff like this has got Dave Coco pissing his pants because, for one, he hates Jay White. But two, now, do I think they're going to put the championship on Jay White? I don't know. They're pushing him now that Kenny Omega's gone as the number one, Gaijin star. And especially right now, Michael Elgin on the shelf right now with injury. I'm all for pushing him. Now, as far as will he be the champion? Well, here's the thing. If you don't have him beat Tanahashi, if you don't have them, and they got the win, the Bullet Club got the win. They got a win over on Yoshihashi, who, by the way, has done, oh my God, they had the perfect time to revamp him, to reboot him, to do something different with him. Now, he changed his hairstyle just a touch, but that's it. He's just right back, same old shit. So I feel bad for Yoshihashi. But he gets the win. At least now you think that Jay White has a chance. You think, well, they're pushing him really hard, And I don't know if Tanahashi's the guy they really want. Is he a transitional champion? What's going on? It's got you at least questioning, what's going on. It's like, at least you think that Jay White has a chance instead of going, oh, Tanahashi versus Jay White. Okay, I wonder how long this is going to go before Tanahashi wins. Now it's like, well, Tanahashi just could be a transitional champion. Jay White, they've been pushing him really hard. Could they put the belt on him? They wouldn't put the belt on him, would they? No, they could, but they might. And I think that's the idea behind it is, it makes things more interesting. It's instead of just like it's kind of a snoozer match. It's, well, could he? Maybe. I want to see. I want to see how this plays out. Next, we had this was actually spoke about Wrestle Kingdom just a few moments ago, but this was a rematch from Wrestle Kingdom. You had Bushi and Shingo Takagi taking on El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. It took a little while for this one to get going, but once it did, it turned really fun. It started out kind of slow, and this is why I'm disappointed in their match at Wrestle Kingdom, because it really never got a chance to get going, and next thing you know, it's fucking over. You got the former champions trying to get the belts back from the current champions. There's a little bit of shenanigans back and forth. It was a lot of fun. Bushi, my God, the best thing that happened for Bushi is to have Takagi join LIJ, because now that Hiromu Takahashi is on the shelf right now with injury, that's not sure if or when he's coming back. Bushi, excellent partner to have for him. He finally gets to shine. He's the kind of the guy that I feel like he's just been kind of screwed over, because whenever LIJ needs to lose, they have him take the fall. They just kind of have him just kind of there. He was there, and he was just kind of there in the junior tag team tournament. So this, I love the fact that he's finally, it shows that the guy can actually wrestle. He's very dependable. And I saw he got a little bit of revenge on El Desperado. Desperado had taken his mask at least on one occasion, maybe two, and Bushi finally returned the favor. Looks like this feud between them is now over, and so I'm interested to see who the new challengers are going to be. Then next we get the IWGP Tag Team Championship match. You have Evil and Sonata defending against Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr. This got really brutal really quick, of course, as you would expect from Suzuki-gun. This went back and forth. There was a lot of false finishes. I like the fact that, that you had a pair of just sadistic submission specialists taking on a couple of hard hitters. Eventually, LIJ hits the Magic Killer on Suzuki, gets the win. Then for the main event, IWGP Intercontinental Championship on the line, Tetsuya Naito versus Taichi. This got interrupted really early because during Nitro's interest, Iizuka hit him with a ladder repeatedly. Looks like he knocked him out. Taichi was hamming it up for the crowd, telling people to go home. Match is over. I'm the champion now. Just give me the belt. He was calling out Chono and Togi Makabe at ringside. John with the fans. Eventually, Naito came back out with a little help from Bushi. It looked like maybe they're going to take the championship off of them, or people kind of criticize this as being a little overbooked, but eventually Naito snapped two. He was fighting from underneath the entire match, made a valiant comeback, and then eventually hit a pair of Destinos and won. This was it turned into a really good match. And like I said, the criticism was that it was kind of overbooked, but people hate Taichi. Taichi, he only wrestles decent matches when he wants to, which is not often. And, just on the surface, if they have a straight match, it's just not interesting. But when you beat the shit out of Naito before the match, he's possibly got a concussion, he's out, okay, it's just like, well, do they really, are they going to take the belt off of them? What are they going to do? Are they going to, because there was like a talks that Naito wants to hold the Intercontinental and IWGP Heavyweight Championships at the same time. Is that going to happen? What, all kinds of different things. And this just made things a lot more interesting. I will give props to Taichi for at least, having a decent match here. And it looked like this was the blow off to their feud here. So next challenger going to have to step up for Naito. I don't know who that's going to be. All in all, this was about your average New Japan show. I was more entertained by this than I was by Wrestle Kingdom, oddly enough, and it's nowhere near as long. Well, no, it's about 4 hours. It's about the same. It's about the same. So if you're a hardcore New Japan fan, I would say check it out. If maybe you're a little new to the New Japan game, want to check out what it's all about, I think this would be a decent show for you to check out. You may want to skip maybe the first 3 matches and start out with the 8-man tag, or you may even want to skip past that maybe and go to the 6-man. But definitely want to check out your final 3 matches for the Junior and Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, as well as the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Look around here. I don't think I've got any questions, but if you got any, just put some down here in the doobly-doo, and we'll be sure to get back with you. Let's see. That's pretty much going to do it right here. I'm going to tell everybody to check us out, KocoSports.com, KOCOSports.com. It's your home for combat sports, where the world goes to kick ass, most importantly, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. Dave Coco, I don't know when he's going to be churning out stuff, but he's going to tell me to tell you to check out Coco Plays because he gets on his PS4, plays NHL hockey and Fire Pro Wrestling poorly, and because he's too stupid to set up Twitch. Also, he just set up another channel where he talks about writing. Yes, he's dedicated a whole channel to where he talks about banging his hands on a keyboard, putting letters together to form words, words to form sentences, sentences to form paragraphs in such a way that you will want to keep reading and turning pages, and give him money to do that. LK, he's always going to be part of the Coco crew here. He's always going to be part of CocoSports.com. Not really going to be turning any new shows right now, and here's the explanation for it. He's training to become a professional wrestler. His trainer pretty much just told him it would be in his best interest to not do these because not to risk saying anything inflammatory or saying anything that may hurt his chances of working, future shows or with people in the future. I kind of disagree with it because, LK does not say, he doesn't go on there and he's not the kind of guy who gets on, oh, you fucking suck. Well, this guy fucking sucks. Well, this guy can't fucking work. He just gets on there and goes, well, I watched this show from All Japan and I liked it because boom, boom, boom. There you go. But it's his dream. He's gonna follow it. I support him 100%. Whatever he wants to do, and of course, if things don't work out, he can always come back. No questions asked, arms wide open. Maybe he can still put up some content. As far as MMA goes. But and so we support him 110%. Also, check out our buddy Wrestling and Ranting. He's turned out some of the best content since he started his channel. It's Wrestling with the R and then 3 S's and Ranting. Really super classy guy. Like him, enjoy him a lot. So that's going to do it for me. So until next time, kids, the boom just went bang, and I